Hi there flower lovers, and welcome to Everything Flowers Mother's Day special. I'm going to show you 3 ideas of some beautiful things you can give to your mum to show her how much you love her this Mother's Day. The first one, you're going to need a nice deep bucket or a sink of some sort. I have this one. And we're going to do an oasis wreath heart. Little oasis floral foams. Now when you're soaking this, it starts off really dry. You pop it in and it'll float. And then when it's ready, it'll sink. It's a bit of a tight fit. We're just going to put that aside for kind of 10 minutes or so while it does its thing. And while that's soaking, I'm going to show you how to wrap a plant. So, I have this begonia. It's quite a traditional Mother's Day plant, but they are gorgeous. They do flower all year round if you look after them well enough. And I really liked this one because it looked like a wee sunset. Now, we need some stuff to wrap it in. I have these and some cellophane. This is to help waterproof it so it's not going to leak everywhere when Mum waters it. We're also going to need a few rubber bands, some pretty ribbon, and paper scissors. So, my cellophane is already cut into a square, but you can get yours sorted out if you need to. Pop your wee plant in the center and take one of the rubber bands. And we want to put the corners up. Just kind of gather it in and hold it there. And then you want to take your rubber band and slip it over the bottom of the pot. There we go, that holds the cellophane in there quite nicely. Now I would like to trim off some of these edges, so they're a little bit too high for my liking. So you take your scissors and you cut in diagonals like that. And then you can just kind of pull that out. One more over here. Pull and cut and pull. Okay. Now we need to take some squares of the wrap. Now you want to make sure that it's going to be big enough to come up around the plant a wee bit. Aren't the colours lovely? And the wee sunset. I just love the sunset. Okay. And then we take some of this one. Bit of gold in there to reflect those gorgeous colours. And it's nice to use something like this because it gives it a bit more movement. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this one as well. Okay, now we're going to layer them up. So I want one of these on the outside. These ones are quite difficult. And then an orange one. We'll put them the same way. And then we want to place the other ones across diagonally to make like an 8-pointed star. You don't have to use this difficult wrap. 2 flat ones would work just as nicely. And put that one over the top. And then once again your plant goes in the middle. going to take another rubber band and just gathering it up like we did last time. And again, putting that rubber band down around the pot. Okay, for the finishing touch, we're going to take some of this ribbon and make a pretty bow. So I chose colours to wrap it that were kind of reflective of the sunset as well. It's got that kind of theme going on. So you just need to wrap that round. Kind of makes it easier if you do it twice, because then you can squeeze it in a bit. Find the pretty side. I reckon there looks good. And tie your wee bow. Now to finish up those edges, we want to cut them on a nice angle. And then you can tizzy that up just a little bit. And you have a nicely wrapped plant ready to give to Mumsy. Okay, shall we check on that little oasis heart? Now, because the bucket was quite tight, it couldn't sink, but the bubbles have stopped coming out, so that means that it's ready. You notice it's a bit heavier than it was when it came in. Okay, now you can pick up these hearts from places like Spotlight or Impress Floral Supplies, they also sell them. And then you can go to your local florist, buy a bunch of roses. Well, a bunch is like 10, you only really need 9 because we're going to do groups of 3s. I've chosen this one, it's a very nice fragrant rose. And then just foliage from your garden. So I've got some of this blue gum, a wee bit of that ivy and some jasmine. So let's get started. Going to base it up with some gum to start with. Now we need our sharp scissors. And just going to cut little bits off and pop it in the oasis. Just need like about 1 centimetre or so of stem to go in there. And we want to leave 3 gaps for our 3 groups of roses. And when working with like hearts and stuff like this, or even with wreaths, it's just good to all go the same way. But for a heart, I'm going to go opposite, just to get that kind of, I don't know what you call that, the heart shape effect going on. You always want to make sure you're removing the leaves from the stems, because you don't want to put that in the oasis. It just makes a big hole, and then the stems will fall out because they just need that tight little hole to fit in. Okay, so here you can see I've started to leave the 3 gaps where I'm going to put my roses, and it's just starting to kind of take shape. Okay, and now I'm going to use some of the jasmine. Cutting it on a nice angle for the stem. And put bit shorter. I'm going to place that right in there. You can kind of weave it through your foliage, or I'll show you how to make some pins to help it stay down. For that, you need a few pieces of wire. I use 24 gauge for pretty much everything, unless it's really light or really heavy, then you've got to use different ones. But 24 is a good wire to have. If you're going to buy wire to use in arranging, 24 is the one, or 18 is the other word for it. So, oh, I didn't show you how to do that, did I? I just did it. So you cut your piece, little bit of wire there, hold it in the middle, and then just bend it round, and you have a pin. Don't really need that one. A little bit more jasmine. Now I need it. Oh, there it is. All right, now I think it's time to pop the roses in. So we've got 3 clusters of 3. Now notice how this rose has got this little mouldy piece on it. You want to remove any petals that have any signs of mould on them, because that's not good. If the mould gets down into the base and then it goes into the rose, and then the whole rose just disintegrates. So you need to have good clean petals. See, there's another one in there. It's only a tiny wee piece, but it could go whoop, and then the rose is dead. So only need little pieces of stem. That's probably even too much, a bit less. And then place them nicely. Good to have a few different sizes of roses too, rather than all the same. And just kind of layer them out a bit. So there we have with the roses in. We still need to cover up this because it's a bit ugly like that. So for that, so when this ivy comes in with these cute little bobblies, it's always nice to use lots of different textures, I find, with flowers. And using things that you'd find in nature together as well is always good. So again, when you're putting stuff in the oasis, like, make sure it's all going the same way. And that's it. Whoops. Nice little fragrant heart, ready for Mumsy. It'll leak a bit because it's got lots of water in there. You do need to make sure you keep water up to oasis, because once it dries out, there's no going back. Okay, so for the third one, we're just going to pop a few plants into this lovely pot. I went shopping today at one of my favourite stores, Mitre 10 Mega, and I brought this lovely pot, a bag of Yates potting mix, and these nice bits of potted colour. So first we're going to need to put some of this lovely potting mix into the pot. You want to leave just enough room to fit the soil from the rest of the plants in there. And my mum loves red, so I got all of these little guys. Nice cyclamen. And whoop. I'm not sure that they're all going to fit in there, but we're going to give it a go. So I really want to put this one in. Squeeze the pots, tip it up, and it should just slide off like that. And this little cyclamen is one come from a local company here in Christchurch, Zealandia. They grow lots of yummy plants. Some pansies. This little guy, I can't remember what he's called, but he's very pretty. Just give them a wee squeeze as well at the bottom there to loosen up the roots. Forgot to do that for the other ones. Just helps them get into their new environment a bit easier. And this one, no, I'm going to put this one. Okay, so those ones are placed in there nicely. Now we get that Yates potting mix again. And you just want to top up the pot there. Oops, try not to make too much of a mess. And then, like with the other one, we can pop a nice wee ribbon around it. Remember to cutting on an angle. This one you don't have to wrap around twice because it's already nice and tight. And oh. Voila! Now you have 3 lovely ideas to give to your mum this Mother's Day. Go on, show her you love her, buy her some flowers.